rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. All perfect praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace and blessing upon beloved Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we beg Allah, ask forgiveness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also forgive our sins. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbal Alameen. Alhamdulillah, as Hadith mentioned, today my topic is fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I was quote the ayah from Surah Nazi'at, the chapter number 79 and verse number 40 in the para number 30 also. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that ayah I was reciting in my Isha prayer also in the second rak'ah. Allah mentioned وَعَمَّ مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. But as for those who fear Allah, to stand before their Lord, to stand for the salah, and restrain themselves from the having an unlawful desire, hawa, unlawful desire. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran more than 80 ayahs, more than 80 verses of the Quran is mentioned fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, in Surah Rahman, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّةً. Did anyone have a feeling of fear of Allah when he was standing for the salah? But in this ayah, Allah mentioned especially that anyone have fear of Allah when he was standing for salah, Allah granted him two Jannah. Jannatan. One is Jannah, is a singular, but Jannatan in Arabic is two Jannah. This Allah granted them. And one in also in Surah An-Nisa, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. O you who believe, ittaqullah, fear of Allah. So more than, I just said, more than 80 ayats is mentioned. Now, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also mentioned fear of Allah wherever you are. And many scholars they mention how you achieve the fear of Allah. That is the point. Many people, they don't know how to achieve. And this is very simple. The scholars and the commentators, they mention, they describe. Many mufassirin, they describe how to achieve the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They give the example. For example, before we recite the Quran, the Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah is most gracious and most merciful. So we know the Sifati Jamaliya, the Allah's name. The names, some names have a Sifati Jamaliya and some names is Sifati Jalaliya. We know the Sifat-e Jamaliya is a beautiful name of Allah. It's the most forgiving, most merciful of the merciful. In the same time, we have to know Sifat-e Jalaliya. Allah is Qahar. Allah is Jabbar. Qahar is Subdur and Jabbar is Compeller. Allah is Jabbar. Allah is a Qahhar. So when we know the name of Sifat-e Jamaliya and Sifat-e Jalaliya, this way will achieve the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another example, why Allah created the Jannah and Jahannam? Why Allah created the heaven and the paradise? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created good and bad. But this one, Allah tests us. With the created this thing, with the Jannah and with the Jahannam. So this one, then we will achieve the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the one. Now, what is the meaning of fear? Fear. Fear is usually associated with the negative thought or the emotional. Remember, fear is usually associated with the negative thought or emotions. It can keep us from the going forward. Is called meeting the people and progressing in our careers. It can also is burden us is taking risk that help us grow and is expressive the life. However, there is one positive is called associated with the fear, and it is the very powerful fear. And also, I remember the hadith Qudsi. Allah mentioned, the person have a fear of Allah. One have a feeling of fear of Allah. On the day of resurrection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no fear. They are free from the fear. Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects this person, protects from the hellfire. And the person in the heart have a fear of the people, they have a no peace in the hereafter. No peace in the hereafter. It means in the heart have two types of the fear never enter. In the fear, the two types of the fear never enter in the human being heart. It's the person, that is the benefit. The fear of Allah is very beneficial. It's beneficial not only this dunya, not only this world, and also hereafter. So as he mentioned, Allah mentioned, Innal ladhina qalu rabbuna Allah thumma istaqamu tatanazzalu alayhim al-malaika alla takhafu wa la tahzanu. Allah mentioned, Allah takhafu wa la tahzanu. The person who have fear of Allah, they have no fear and no grief also. وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا, no grief in the day of resurrection. So many ayats in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is also, I would like to describe with you. Now, the second thing, remember, in order to fear Allah, it doesn't mean if you are alone. Remember that. Yet fear of Allah, it doesn't mean you are alone. It's married or unmarried or surrounding by the many living people in your life. It means you are the front of the people, you should have a fear of Allah. If you are alone in the room, closed room, you should have this quality of the moment. The quality of the true believer is we have to have a fear of Allah. Doesn't matter you are the front of the people or you are alone yourself. And also it means you are the married or unmarried. You have to have a fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To fear is to never ever commit any sins in your life. This is also the meaning of the fear is, yes, we can say by the words, but Allah know your intention. Allah know your thought. Allah know whatever you have in your mind. So this is also very important. Just remember, when you have fear of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always protect you from the sins. You always stay back from the sins. This is also the benefit, and this is also you can achieve the taqwa and the piety. And also remember, fear of Allah is also one meaning of the taqwa and the piety. When the person have a fear of Allah, that person is also pious person. The person, they have a means, we can say, this person have a taqwa and piety. In the Quran, Allah mentioned, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Allah mentioned, O you who believe, ittaqullah, fear of Allah, and be with the truthful. Be with the truthful. So who is the truthful? The truthful person, those because they are the very pious, they are the very honest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is also very important to understand the meaning of the Quran. Now, If will help you to always do good deeds, then also fear of Allah is also help you to always do good deeds. Now, for doing so, Allah will love you and be very pleased with, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also very pleased with you. For example, in Surah Bayyana, جَزَاؤُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ جَنَّاتُ عَدْنٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Allah be pleased with you and you are with the pleased with of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. And the person have a fear of Allah and the person have a piety, this also Allah always be pleased with that person. This Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. So it's also, and when you have fear of Allah, you will have no fear of others also. This also is a benefit for you. When you, in your heart have fear of Allah, you never have fear from the people. You never ever, and remember, and you have a fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at the same time, when you show off for the people, and you do something good deeds, and from the fear of the people, remember, there is no reward for that. There is no reward for that person. Because you are not honest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah loves the sincerity. Allah loves the ikhlas. When you do the good deeds, it's always count the ikhlas. It's always, Allah knows, because Allah wants that's the sincerity. It's called ikhlas. In the Surah Al-Bayyana is also mentioned, وَمَا تَفَرَّقَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْبَيِّنَةُ وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ. When you worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah requires you have a sincerity. مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ-الدِّينَ. And the sincerity in your religion, in your Islam, in your practice. Remember, Islam is a practice. You have to show your all action according to with the sincere of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the ikhlas. Now I give you the many examples. Now number one, in the holy book Allah says, you will not have any grief and fear, I just mentioned. If you fear me, I have a story. Number one is also the best describe the positive outcomes of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One day, a young woman was traveling with the tribe. And a young man also in the tribe noticed her. When the tribe stopped traveling for the night, after everyone asleep, the man went silently to the woman and said to her, I love you so much. He then tried to touch her, he tried. She said, please stop. And check if everyone asleep. Who said this one? The man said, can you check if everyone is asleep? When he come back to her, he told her, everyone is asleep. Then something very powerful happened, something. She asked him, is Allah is asleep? Remember in Ayatul Kursi, we also read, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. Allah is never asleep. Sinatun wa la nawm. Allah will know this kind of sifat. So what she said? She asked him, is Allah is asleep? Immediately, the young man began to shake. His body was shaking. He was less overcome with her and is also overcome with the fear. And thanks the young woman for saving him from a sin. So this one, because when someone, this is also duty of the mu'min, remember that. It is also duty of the Muslim. It's a man and woman is a duty. If someone do wrong thing, as a mu'min, you have to stop by the words. As a mu'min, if it's not listening by the words, as a mu'min, you have to stop by the hand. If still not, you're not stopping, you have to feel in your heart as a bad, oh no. That fear is also weak iman. When you feel from your, so is as a true believer. Now the woman tried to stop him because he tried to, commit the sin. So if it is same, this is the example. If someone do the wrong thing, it is also the duty to stop that person, and it is a big reward. Remember, I just mentioned, in the day of resurrection, you don't have any fear and any grief. That is a lesson here for all our disciples. And next one, that is also Allah always watching us. Allah knows what we have in our mind, and also now just remember another story I would like to mention to you. And you will hear from many scholars. Other day, Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, he was the Khalif. He was the ruler of Islam, the second Caliph. One day he was walking in the street. One family, the family was very poor. The children were asked the mother, "We are so hungry, can you prepare something to eat? Can you cook something to eat?" The mother mentioned, because in the house, nothing to cook. So she she put the fire on and tried to cook, but it's nothing. But she put it something like putting the stone, and she was keep saying to the children, "Wait, I'm preparing. And the same moment, Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, he heard something, and the children was crying. So Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala entered on the tent, and he would ask, he said, "You preparing and your children is crying, what happened in here? What's going on here?" Children asked the food. The woman mentioned, the mother of the children mentioned, "I don't have anything." But that time he don't mention, "I am Umar Farooq. I am a ruler of Islam." Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, going back, and he carried the stuff of the food and give it to the woman. So she can give it to the food. Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, when he going back, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Ya Allah, I have so much burden in my shoulder." His wife, Sayyida Atika radiallahu ta'ala anha, she mentioned, "Many times I feel my husband at night. He just suddenly wake up, and he get up from the bed, and he has so much worry about, and many times he would ask, 'Ya Umar, what happened? Many times I watching you, many times like I observe, you wake up when you were sleeping." So Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala mentioned, "I have so much burden in my shoulder, because I have to watch everything." That he mentioned, and he mentioned, "Ya Allah, you can hold my shoulder and you can ask me on the day of resurrection. In my ruling, in my, I am a ruler of Islam. If any worship or any goat is a die as a hunger, as a trustee, oh Allah, I will be answering. You will ask me." Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu, I also mentioned another story. I also mentioned it today in Jummah in my speech. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, because you always do. Sometime you go alone, sometime he carries some of his servant, with him to help. But sometime you go alone, nobody knows. At night, and he observes, anybody is not hungry, everything is okay. One day Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala is also walking. In one house, some conversation between the mother and the daughter. It's happened. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala listening. Because he's a very strict person. Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. So mother said to his daughter, so mother said, because they're selling the milk. So mother asked the daughter, today we don't have enough the milk. So can you put some water in the milk? So the mother tried to cheat to selling the milk. But daughter, she mentioned mother, no. Remember Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, is mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Holy Quran, is not allowed to cheat. So mother says, Umar is not here. What she said? Umar radiallahu ta'ala is not here. But daughter mentioned, oh mother, the Lord of the Umar is here. He is watching us. The Lord of the Umar is watching us. Oh mother, it's not allowed. I can help you. Because Allah don't like. If you're cheating, it means we don't have a fear of Allah. You know what happened after? Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala chose the same daughter, same lady for his son to get married. So he take that daughter from the mother and said, I would like this because your daughter, she remembered the message of Allah. I can feel and I hear this conversation. So my son, if you allow me to your daughter married to my rich son, please allow me. You know who is this lady? The grandmother of Umar bin Abdul Aziz. The grandmother of the Nani, the mother of Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, is the great king. It was in the Saudi Arabia. It's a great king. The lady is the same, the Nani of Umar bin Abdul Aziz, and the wife of the son of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. You know, when she married to his son, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala always mentioned, oh my daughter, when I left my house, when I go every day, this is your duty. Remember, it is your duty. When I try to come and I go out, you have to remind me. I like this dialogue, I like this words. You mentioned Umar, the Lord of the Umar watching us. So she mentioning to Umar radiallahu ta'ala every day. So this many story, my most respected brothers and dear children. We have to remember the message of Quran. Also in the Holy Quran in Surah Mulk, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَأَجْرٌ كَبِيرٌ. Indeed, those who have fear of Allah from the unseen. يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them. What is the grant them? Is the forgiveness and ajrun kabir and the great reward for that. The person have a fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the message of the Quran, and this is the message of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So we have to remember the life of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You have to remember the message of the Quran. You have to remember the message of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Remember, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, fear of Allah wherever you are. You are at the front of the people, you should have a fear of Allah. If you are alone, you should have a fear of Allah. Then you will achieve the Jannah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you from the sins. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the Jannah. So this is my message to you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to follow the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to follow the message of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.